Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything Ice Wars edition. We have Colten Hollywood Hayes. How you doing, sir?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
If the twins tell me I have to get somebody on, I have to get them on. How do you know the Leaport twins? And like I said, they said this guy's going to be amazing. I have to have you on the show.
Yeah, I know we met a couple probably 10 years ago playing a couple cash tournaments and just kind of hit it off. Nick's an amazing person, amazing athlete, obviously, the amount of stuff he's done, and Will being a father, and kind of stayed in touch. We've coached a little bit too, Will and I. So yeah, we've just been friends, always stay connected, and always supporting each other ever since.
So you got to watch. Have you watched the BKFC Ice Wars the other day that we had?
Oh yeah, no, I tuned in for the YouTube clips there, and obviously I talked to Nick as soon as his fight was done, and then I watched Will's as well and talked to Will. So it was pretty special what those two guys brought to the table.
What did you think of the event as a whole? Like, I really enjoyed it. There's a couple little things that I think needed some tweaks, but overall, I thought it was pretty phenomenal event.
Yeah, like my cousin, my second cousin, Link Gates, he was in the first one in Prince George there a long time ago, and from that, watching that the past one, June 14th, the Michigan one. It's crazy how the production did on their end, and yeah, it's been fun to watch and be a fan of for sure.
Can you tell us about your hockey experience? Like, were you a hockey fighter? But also, like, how long have you played hockey? Do you still play hockey? Like, everything.
Yeah, so I started in Sycamoose 2007. I think I was 16 years old playing the KI. I played a couple games in Salmon Arm, and obviously worked my way up through 3 years of Junior A and played Drumheller Dragons and Okotoks Oilers. And was fortunate enough, my 2010-11 year, I won AJHL Demon of the Year, but I had 200 penalty minutes and 54 points. So I put the puck in the net when I had to and set up my teammates, and I had to protect them as well. So I kind of always had it in my blood at the end of the day to stick up for people. And when the time came, I wasn't scared of doing it for sure. So, and then I moved on to pro. I played in Stockton for the Stockton Thunder and the Coast, Fort Wayne, Reading Royals, and Alaska Aces, and then I finished off 2014-15 in Missouri and split that season with Alaska. But I was on a two-way deal with Chicago Wolves, so I went to 3 American League camps and had to fight in those camps too. And I was fortunate enough to have a couple of goals and a couple of assists as well. So I was kind of all-around player when I played. So.
Are you still involved in the hockey world? Like, what do you do for a day job? Can you tell me more about that stuff?
Yeah, so my full-time job, and I'm very fortunate enough, I live in Okotoks, Alberta here, and I run a company called Coast to Coast Hockey Development, so I train a lot of kids. Just finished off our spring a couple of weeks ago, had over 160 participants running through that, and it's amazing to be a part of these younger athletes' journey and trying to help them. And I got a lot of kids playing the BCHL, WHL, so it's pretty cool to see. You start from 9 years old and they build all the way up. And I got a few original kids that I train that are playing Junior A, and it's pretty fun to watch for sure and rewarding at the end of the day. So.
Were you a guy who did AJ approach you? Did you approach AJ? How did you get involved with Ice Wars?
All Nick Laporte, I'll give him a shout out on that. Him and I were on the phone having a talk, and that was probably a month and a half ago, and he told me he was doing it, and I kind of bugged him. I said, I think I could, I think I could get in and do some damage myself. And he hooked me up with AJ, and AJ's been awesome ever since. He always replies. I know he's a busy man, but he's always always there for me when I have a question on anything, and always ready to help. So.
Did Nick give you any pointers? When you watched, did you pick up anything? Like, to me, cardio seems like the key to the whole success.
Yeah, and like I once I took on and AJ and I kind of hashed everything out with me doing the River Cree one. I've been going nonstop for the last month and a bit here. So cardio is a huge thing, and for myself, coaching. I just finished coaching in the AJHL with the Olds Grizzlies the past season. So coaching, you don't really work out as much as you want to. I always stay in the gym, and I still play senior hockey. I played that for, oh God, probably 8 years now. But I played in Wetaskiwin, but I didn't realize how much I weighed. So I dropped almost 30 pounds just working out and making sure that I'm ready to go for this fight. And, I'm fortunate enough that I teach shooting in town too at off ice shooting lanes in Okotoks here. And they got the synthetic ice. So I've gone couple times, or what is it, 4 times at there with full gear and just working on pad work with a good friend of mine that I just met at the gym a couple years ago, Trevor Fleming. So he's been helping me out nonstop, and yeah, I've just been putting that work and kind of getting ready for battle for sure.
When you were a hockey fighter, I mean, did you do any training, any boxing? Like I said, you were a guy who said you had a lot of penalty minutes. Did you train specifically back in the day boxing? Do you still continue to train boxing or anything?
No, I was brought up my mother Crystal Koski, she's coming down. She's flying all the way back from home from she lives in Abbotsford now, but she's flying down. But I got my toughness for sure from her. She raised my brother, my sister, and I by herself at the end there. My dad obviously was involved at the when I was younger, and he pushed me too to be a strong individual and always stick up for people. So I've always kind of had that background in fighting and being tough. And my dad taught me a lot of stuff when I was younger. So I still remember my first junior B camp in I think it was the Delta Ice Sox. I think I fought 7 times in 3 days because I wasn't as skilled as I was when I got older. So I thought that was the only way to make the team. So I kind of was always kind of bred to do it.
Okay, so you talk about like not having quite the skill, so you need to fight. What's it like being a guy that your role is basically, hey, we want you to come in and protect our guys? Do you relish that role as anything to be on the team? Like, is it one of those things like, man, I wish I could get a little more playing time so I could show off my puck handling skills and stuff? Or
When I was younger, for sure. I think when I got older and got a little bit more confidence in myself and my skill ability, I think that kind of took over, and the fighting part kind of took a back seat. But I was always willing to step in and fight. I didn't really back down from anything, and I wasn't scared of any guys. And me as a 21-year-old playing in the ECHL, I was a little timid at first, but you get your first one under your belt, and then everything else is pretty gravy from there. So like I said, when I was younger, I had to do it a little bit more because I wasn't skilled, but obviously the skill set kind of took over, and the points are kind of there if people want to look me up there. So.
growing up, did you have a favorite enforcer?
Yeah, probably my cousin Link Gates, the missing
Okay.
link. Yeah, he's my second cousin. My aunt Lina Ray, she lives in Red Deer. That's her brother. Obviously, we don't really stay in touch too much. Link's kind of on his own, doing his own thing. I couldn't even tell you where he is, but I always kind of and that was my goal, was always to make the NHL. I was very close, and I decided to be a grown up and make that switch in the 2014-15 to kind of get on with life. Fortunate enough that I get to still play senior hockey. I won an Allen Cup. That was pretty cool. My first year out of pro. That's a pretty special trophy in Canada here for senior hockey. And but yeah, no, I was just Link Gates was always a person I looked up to as an enforcer, and he fought some tough guys, Bob Probert and all those maniacs back in the day, and I think those are the real ice wars at the end of the day. So.
Okay, so we talked to some of the players and they go, look, I was never going to make it to the show, but I now have the chance. I mean, we just looked at Nick's video the other day. 500,000 views on it. This is almost like you didn't get to make it to the show, but now you're getting to be put in front of millions and millions of fans. Are you looking at it like, wow, this could really, I mean, you do phenomenal at this. It's going to help you with your hockey camp. Potentially, like we talked to Leaport twins, they want to go forward and try to do bare knuckle. What are you hoping to transition this into?
Yeah, I think just credibility at the end of the day and moving forward with Ice Wars. Obviously, I want to be involved with it. I've heard rumblings that they got some future plans going, maybe later in the summer. I'm not sure if that's set in stone, but yeah, Nick and Will and I talk about it all the time. I just want to, I know Nick said he wants to be the face of the franchise. I want to be there right with him, so I think it's going to be pretty special when I go in on Saturday for sure.
What weight will we see you fighting at?
I'm down to 235 right now. So I was, like I said, I was weighed myself a month and a half ago, and I've been eating super clean and working my butt off. So I've been ready to go for sure. So
I'm hoping that we don't see. I mean, you're clearly good friends with the boys. Do we ever see a chance that you guys fight? Is it one of those things like, hey, if it makes dollars, it makes sense, or like those are your buddies, you're not going to fight them?
I can't. I think that's the biggest thing with hockey. I know there's some guys out there that probably kicking, slapping their steering wheel if they hear me say this, but I'm not fighting my buddies. I respect those guys way too much, and to fight them, I don't think it would be. I don't want to say it wouldn't be serious because obviously when you're in the ice box, you're ready to fight and you're ready to go to battle. But I think fighting those two would make sense on our end, even just for a friendship too, right? So
I thought it was kind of crazy. Like, I was having a
I have.
trouble. Oh, sorry.
Well, I have fought my buddies before. Cody Rinaldi, he
Okay.
told me, yeah, I fought a couple of my buddies for sure, in junior hockey and whatnot. But yeah, it's just not the same. I just like for myself, my personality, it's not the same fighting a good friend for sure. So.
Okay, so I was gonna say I was talking to Will Laporte, and I was having a hard time getting hold of Brooks, and he goes, "You really got to interview him." He goes, "We used to be teammates and roommates." He's like, "I really like him," and I find it so crazy that he was so excited to fight some dude who, like I said, was his roommate and a teammate, and he considered a good friend. But then he was like absolutely shit talking him in the ring. So I mean, it was crazy how he was able to put like on hold that friendship.
Yeah, I know for sure. Will's built different than everyone too. Obviously, you've seen the way he fights. So, but yeah, I just Nick and Will and I think we all have a pretty mutual respect for each other and how we present at the end of the day. So it's good. Yeah, we're good friends, and yeah, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But anyone else, by any means, they can get it. So. Yeah, I'm good friends with I fought Amesbury too in lacrosse. I played lacrosse junior A in Langley for the Thunder. There, I was a captain there and fought lacrosse a lot. And I was fortunate enough to get drafted in the WLA to Burnaby Lakers. And that's kind of when I had to make a decision finally in my life that I wanted to stick with hockey. I think I was a little bit more skilled at hockey than lacrosse. I had to fight a lot more in lacrosse than hockey, so that's why I kind of stuck to that path there for sure.
I still at one point either want BKFC or BKFC Ice Wars. I would love if they would do like the toughest man in sports, and you get a BKFC fighter, you get a BKFC Ice Wars hockey fighter, you get a lacrosse fighter, maybe a rugby guy, like some other tough sport, and do like a competition to be like the toughest guy in sports. Because, like you just said, lacrosse players are tough too. You and Amesbury both tough guys, and like can throw the hands.
Yeah, I think lacrosse players are very underrated fighting. That's basically a street brawl. A hockey you can kind of get away with, clutching and grabbing a guy and maybe getting them off balance a little bit. Lacrosse, you're on your shoes and you're going toe to toe. So I used to love personally lacrosse fighting because I felt a little bit more in control in what I was able to do on there. Hockey fighting, it's kind of it's kind of a coin flip, like I said. The guy gets off balance, and you throw a magic haymaker, and the guy's falling down at the end of the day, right? So, yeah, it's lacrosse. That would be a pretty special event if we could get something like that rolling too. So maybe get AJ a couple of more ideas there and get that rolling. That'd be awesome.
Are you one of those guys? So we've seen, it seems like you have the guys who want to tie up and try to throw the uppercuts and keep it close and avoid getting punched. And then you have, the twins both wanted to fight from a distance, wanted to keep it like keep the distance. What is your style? Is it one of those like you're a reactionary fighter? Are you more aggressive? Like, are you a counter
Yeah,
fighter?
I'm more of a killer for sure. I'm more aggressive, kind of like Nick and Will fight outside and throwing. I don't want to give too many tricks because I
Sure.
don't want the guy I'm fighting to know, but he better be ready for sure because it's going to be an onslaught. And I think the biggest thing for me, I'm on the ice all the time, every day, so I think my skating ability is a lot stronger than most of the guys that are fighting in this stuff. So, at the end of the day, I didn't have my ass planted on the bench. I was on the ice scoring, and then had to do it after. So, it's going to be awesome to just not worry about putting the puck in the net or setting a guy up and just squaring up with a guy and beating the shit out of him for sure.
Are you one of those guys that likes to chirp a lot, talk a lot of shit? Like I said, it's so interesting to see the guys who are fantastic at talking shit. Like I said, I saw Will and he was talking the whole time. But then you also have the guys who are like respectful and they don't want to, like they don't trash talk. What is your style?
Yeah, I don't want to say I don't trash talk because all the guys I've played with or played against, they all know that I got a good mouth and I do chirp a lot. But I think with an event like this, you got to respect your opponent at the end of the day, and I totally do, for sure. But obviously the chirps are probably going to come out of my mouth at some point. But the switch does flip on for me, and I do go in in a different place when it's time to fight for sure. So.
Okay, we can't announce your opponent, but have you been able to research much about your opponent? Like again, don't give too much away, but do you have footage? Is one of those things like you don't necessarily care? Like you're like, I'm gonna do my thing, and so it doesn't matter what he does?
Yeah, I've seen the kid, the person I'm fighting. I'm not worried. He better be worried at the end of the day about me. He's a little bit younger than me for sure, but the kid's never fought in professional hockey or anything professional at the end of the day. And even if he thinks he did stuff in senior hockey, I watched a couple of his clips that he posted on his Instagram, and I'm not worried about it. It's going to be fun. Obviously, like I said, the kid better keep his head up and shouldn't talk.
Do you have any aspirations of trying to parlay this into a bare knuckle fight? Like, is that something that interests you at all? Is going to the BKFC and you get to stand on your own 2 feet and throw the hands?
Yeah, for sure, it's obviously interesting for myself and my point of life. I'm 35, got 2 kids at home and a wife, and my wife Stacy Hayes, and I it would have to be for sure for some decent coin if I was gonna do it. But yeah, it's something for sure to look at. I'm just trying to see if I enjoy the first match here and kind of move forward from there after that. So not looking too far ahead right now, just kind of focused on June 28th and doing a job then. And then like I said, I'll kind of rethink what I want to do after that.
Did you have a favorite hockey movie growing up?
I think the classic one is Slapshot. I always loved Slapshot. The Hanson brothers. I was fortunate enough to meet those guys a couple of years ago. Like I said, my friend Cody and his parents in Hinton, Alberta, they ran a special thing for the minor hockey there. So the Hanson brothers and the Slapshot crew came down. So I got to meet them, and they're pretty special people as well. So.
Very cool. Okay, and then the last question I always have for people the first time I'm on the show, do you remember the first time you punched them out of anger, the first time you got in a street fight, let's say non-relative and non-hockey fight? Did you remember the first time you got in like a street fight?
I am not a street fighter.
Okay.
I did it in school when my brother did something stupid, and I had to stick up for him because I didn't want to get the wrath from my dad when I was younger. So I always got taught, once it's at the rink, it stays at the rink at the end of the day. Even lacrosse, hockey, anything I've done my whole life. I'm a pretty humble person off the ice, and respectful to everyone at the end of the day. And I getting mixed up in bar fights and stuff, that just wasn't my thing at going in my life. So I do all my business and everything on the ice, and everything goes from there.
That's respectable. All right. Do you have a message for the fans, any sponsors, any shout outs, anything you'd like to get out there before we call it a day?
No, just be ready. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good first round. And yeah, like I said, that kid better hold on tight because it's going to be fun for sure.
All right, man. We'll go ahead and get this win, and we look forward to talking to you again. And I hope you love it, and we'll hopefully see you again. But if not, like I said, you get the win, we will have you on again.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Gator.
Have a great night. Thanks, man.
Bye.